When did jealousy get the best of your significant other? My husband got jealous because a customer with Down syndrome at my restaurant only wants me to serve him every day. It ruined my marriage. I have been married to my husband for about 2 years. Together for 5. We have 2 children, and I honestly couldn't be happier, until my husband found out about the customer. I run a cafe with my sister and it's located in a very popular neighborhood with lots of office workers. There's also some type of day center. This day center is for people with different kinds of disabilities. They do simpler types of work. There's a boy who is maybe 25 to 30 with Down syndrome that works there. Every morning, his taxi drops him off at 7:30 and he comes to our cafe and gets a breakfast and coffee and sits on the same table facing my workstation. He doesn't say much, just smiles and asks how I am today and what my plans are. He refuses when my sister or one of the girls helps him. It must be me. If I'm busy he waits until I'm available. Then he starts his day at 8. We close at 4 p.m. and at 3:30 p.m., he comes again and sits on the same table until his taxi comes around 4 and usually I give him a soda or a smoothie on the house. Apparently when I'm not working he gets very confused, stays for a while without understanding I'm not there and then leaves without eating. My sister and her wife were invited for dinner with me and my husband. I was homesick the week before so she was laughing and telling us about the boy and how he refused to be served by any other and just waited outside for me. My husband was confused so my sister explained everything about this customer. My husband was silent the rest of the dinner. When they went home he asked me why I never told him about this customer and that he thought that the guy was being disrespectful. He asked if he knew I was married. I was confused as to why he would say something like that. Then he became angry because I said that he had Down syndrome. He said that there are functioning people with this syndrome and that I was the prejudiced one, not him. I told him that I was aware of that, but this boy in question seemed and appeared to be much younger, and when he started, one of the people working in the day center noticed his behavior and came to check if he was making us uncomfortable and explained that he had the mind of an 8-year-old and is creature of habit. At the time we told them that he was very polite and pleasant to have as a customer. My husband wasn't happy about it. Next week my husband showed up at 7:30 and took that exact table the boy usually takes. When he came he was very flustered and didn't know what to do, so he just stood near my workstation with his sandwich and coffee in hand. I asked him if he wanted me to help him find another table, but my husband was very angry and told the boy to respect me because I'm a married woman and to not come and stare at me again. The boy apologized and he just left and waited outside all confused. I was heartbroken and begged my husband to apologize and to leave the table because the boy is a creature of habit and doesn't really like changes. He said he didn't care because obviously he's in love with me. My sister told my husband about how I got a Valentine's card last year. When I got home my husband said that he makes good money and we don't need my income. He had contacted my sister to ask her to take over my share of the cafe because I didn't need to work. He said he was disappointed because I never told him about my customer or the card he gave me, so I must have thought it was out of line. But it wasn't like that at all. It's just that I get hundreds of customers every day and I don't have to tell my husband about all of them. He said it wasn't the same as someone who's in love with me. Being in my cafe every day and sometimes when I'm alone. This infuriated me, but we somewhat made up, and I thought we would be okay. All that to say the next morning he was almost non-talkative to me. I asked him if he was still mad, and he said he just needed time to think about things. I had no idea what that meant, and I was still pissed at him because of his irrational thinking about this whole situation. Ever since that day, he hasn't really been the same. He doesn't do it all the time, but he will avoid me on certain days where I tell him about a funny story at the restaurant. The spark was slowly fading, and I didn't know what to do about it but resign from it. I had hoped that if I did that, he would be happy and we could move on from this whole stupid ordeal. When I told him the news, he acted happy, but it was obvious that he was faking it in some aspect. At this point, I'm starting to suspect that he is losing feelings for me, as he has seemed to have more frequent late nights at the office. If what I'm thinking he is doing is true, my heart is already shattered. Every time I try to talk to him, he just shuts me down with a lie about how he loves me and everything is fine. I can't make him budge, and I feel like I'm trapped in a hole with no way out. What should I do?